everyone. Welcome to EcoHeritage's Sustainability Podcast. I'm Sheeja Shibi, co founder of EcoHeritage. It is an online platform where you can find natural and sustainable products you need to lead a lifestyle to reduce the impact on the environment. We are starting with a series of podcasts where we will be covering different topics that will help you know about different sustainable brands and how they help in bringing a change. Our today's topic is green living, and we have with us Mr. Rohit Kamath, co-founder India Hemp Organics, for a brief conversation. Welcome, Rohit. Thank you for accepting our invite, and it's an honor to have you with us. Hi,
Thank you so
Rohit.
much, Sheeja. Thank you so much.
So, how are you doing, Rohit?
I'm doing well today. I'm doing well. It's a bright sunny day in well over here.
So, as we said that our today's podcast is about green living, but before getting on to the topic, our audience would like to know about you. When did you start India Hemp Organics, and what is it all about?
Sure. I'd love to give you like a brief introduction on the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, by way of introduction, my name is Rohit. I am one of the co-founders of India Hemp Organics,
Mm-hmm.
which is a, a company reimagining the way in which cannabis is consumed and perceived within India.
Mm-hmm.
So, through our researching, manufacturing, and retailing, we have developed a wide range of Ayurvedic proprietary medicines
Mm-hmm.
using the hemp seeds and leaves, which we locally source from our farmers from the foothills of the Himalayas in the state of Uttarakhand. So, from our hemp seeds, we make hemp protein powders, hemp seed oil, and hemp hearts. And from our hemp leaves, we make full spectrum CBD oil, which can
Mm-hmm.
be used for a wide range of like medicinal value and various different usages.
Okay.
So yeah, that is a brief introduction about what we do.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful to know about how you have done hemp farming. We would be, getting into that question in detail. But
Mhm.
before that, how did you come up with this idea of choosing hemp as the base of your product?
Right. So both me and my co-founder are very avid trekkers. We love trekking, right? And
Mm-hmm.
especially the mountain because that is really where our heart belongs. In just one of our treks, what we discovered was that okay, now when people think about hemp, or when people think about cannabis, people usually think about somebody smoking or a baba sitting with a chillam
Right,
smoking cannabis, right? But
right.
in reality, that's not the real picture what we saw. In fact, we saw that farmers were eating seeds, farmers were using hemp as a rope for their cattle, farmers were making shoes out of hemp, farmers were using it as fuel, as fire, so many various different purposes of this plant, and that really intrigued our interest. Once we
Uh-huh.
saw that, we're like, this is amazing. And very very honestly, we envision a world in which farmers are growing for industries, right?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that there lies our story of how we came across the plant and decided to really add value at each stage of the supply chain using hemp as a medium for the same.
Okay, great. So there were already existing hemp products which you are packaging and selling, or you started from the scratch itself?
No, so in fact, with the hemp seed, we make three products with the seeds, right? Once we cold press the hemp seeds, we make our hemp seed oil.
Mm-hmm.
Once what is left over will be the hemp seed cake. So using the hemp seed cake, we make our hemp protein powders, and the
Uh-huh.
hemp hearts are nothing but hulled hemp seeds, right? So there
Okay.
is like a value addition of three hemp food products using a single hemp seed, essentially,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So our first stage of the entire supply chain was finding great quality seeds, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
if you see in most remote mountain villages, there are not a lot of crops which can perform there, right? And I mean cash
Right.
crops.
Right.
But in similar lines, hemp can grow pretty much anywhere. It is so versatile, resilient, where it can grow without real effort, right? And as we know, I mean, the entire mountain areas is completely filled with a lot of hemp plants growing there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like we thought that hemp, it could be great for like the farmers to grow, because there is not a lot of maintenance what you have to do while growing the plant, and it becomes like an added cash crop for them. So that is really how we saw this, and how we started our journey with hemp. So essentially we have our fields growing in the state of Uttarakhand, and we have a manufacturing unit based in Madhya Pradesh, and
Okay.
our head office is in Bangalore.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So, you think hemp can grow anywhere, or does it need a specific climate conditions to grow?
So hemp, so usually for hemp, it would be more of of like a tropical like climate, but
Mm-hmm.
essentially hemp can grow pretty much and really like perform well in most places. And so it can grow even in the cold. It can grow even in heat, but ideally the hemp needs doesn't like a very like clogged soil.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Himalayan mountains is essentially a great place for it also to grow.
Right, right. I've heard of Himalayan hemp though, and
Right.
I thought ki it is just those areas that usually grow this hemp plant. But it was wonderful to know from you that it can be grown anywhere.
Right, it can be grown anywhere.
Cool. So, do you think like hemp farming can like how do you think that hemp farming can contribute to the environment basically?
Okay. I'll just give you, okay, to explain the same, I'll just cite a very small example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine a piece of land, right,
Right.
which is which is about 4 acres,
Yeah.
growing, and we have trees there growing for 20 years. Okay, imagine
Mm-hmm.
4 acres of land, and you have trees which take about 20 years to grow. And what
Mm-hmm.
do? We chop down those trees to make paper, right?
Right.
Hemp can produce the same amount of pulp in 1 acre of land and in 4 months,
Oh, wonderful.
right? So that is literally one fourth the land, and in essentially 3 to 4 months, we are speaking about a plant which can give you not just pulp, but it can give you food, it can give you medicines, it can give you shelter, it can give you so many various different things. And the other
Uh-huh.
very interesting thing is about hemp is that it it produces, or it essentially pulls in 4 times the amount of carbon dioxide than trees.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps the um, soil well intact for more plants to grow as well, right? So it aids to the soil, it aids to the air which we breathe in. It gives us great valuable medicines, it gives us food. We can make the ropes, or we can make ropes, we can make fabrics, we can make hempcretes with it. there's so much there's
Uh-huh.
so much
So
we
it's a
can do with it, right?
versatile kind of a product basically.
It's a very very versatile product. And now there's even a lot more research on also making bioplastics with hemp, right? Because hemp has a
Oh.
very high cellulose content
Uh-huh.
in it.
Okay, that's wonderful and really interesting to know. Like it's such a versatile product, something like bamboo,
Hmm.
which usually grows, in 3 to 4 months and helps in deforestation, and it's so environment friendly. So there's another product that has come up as hemp, which I personally did not know about.
So hemp, so even the actual beauty about hemp really lies in that the fact that it barely needs any water to grow, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs zero fertilizers or pesticides to grow. So that
Oh,
is the
wonderful.
beauty about it, because now we live in a world where we will have a lot of water shortages, right? So we also have to grow
Uh-huh.
grow crops which can perform low water conditions as well, right? So looking forward into the
Mhm.
future, I would say that hemp will really stand out.
Very good. So it's a really good information, wonderful information for our audience who is listening to this podcast to know more about hemp, and even they can explore this field for the betterment of our environment. So, coming to the next question, like during your journey, like from trekking to finding out hemp and to personally growing a brand, were there any myths that you have come across that you would like to debunk?
Yeah, a lot of myths, and especially when it comes to hemp, there's so many myths um, uh, surrounding the plant. So essentially, in the entire cannabis family, right? Out of all
Mm-hmm.
the phytocannabinoids present, all the terpenes, all the flavonoids, and the entire like chemical, sorry, the entire like chemical composition of the plant, there is only one active ingredient in it which makes somebody high, and that is THC, right? So you only
Okay.
have one chemical profile in the plant which essentially makes you high, and
Mm-hmm.
which also does have like a lot of I mean like medical value, right? So so like people ask me all the
Mm-hmm.
time, does hemp get you high? Can you can you I mean overdose on hemp? If I have hemp, will I be addicted to it? Can I feed my children hemp?
Uh-huh.
And the answer to all those is that hemp is one of the most safest plants in the world, and the
Mm-hmm.
only way you can probably die of consuming hemp is by tripping over a bag of hemp and falling. That's one of the only ways you can actually cause harm to yourself actually.
Okay. Okay. So that was the mythbuster, I would say, how Rohit has actually helped you understand the biggest myth that we all come across when we hear about the word hemp. And I hope this helps everyone. And Rohit, we all come across some terms like green living, sustainable living. So, have you ever come across these terms and have people asked you anything about those terms? And what do you think? Like how they both are different or same?
Yeah. So green living, I would say, is a slightly vague term. Of course, it means that anything which like benefits um like the environment. It's a slightly vague vague concept, but I feel
Mm-hmm.
sustainable is more in line with how every every business should essentially move forward, because it caters to all aspects, right? It caters to
Mm-hmm.
environmental problems, it caters to social problems, and it also like caters to various economic problems as well, right? And in the
Mm-hmm.
future, growing out businesses, the first thing is that every business will have to become sustainable, not as a want but as a need rather. And I feel that sustainability is a slightly more well defined term than green living essentially.
Okay. So, do you think only businesses need to get into sustainable living?
Absolutely not, absolutely not. I was in fact it starts also with like the consumers mainly, because because
Mm-hmm.
because sustainable like businesses can only thrive on sustainable consumers, right? And consumers
Right.
happen to become like the pillar of support for more and more sustainable businesses. So I would say that it's both, which is very important, and they both can actively contribute in creating more awareness around the same essentially.
Wonderful. So, is there any suggestion for the newbies out there, like people who really want to start, getting into a sustainable living, sustainable lifestyle, but there is a hitch, and from where should I start from? What are the products should I first use? So, any suggestions for people like that?
So I feel that the first most important thing is to honestly start with our daily habits, right? So
Mm-hmm.
say for example, if I am like a person that likes to drink coconut water every single day, right? Maybe after like a workout. So instead of going to the same guy and having the same like coconut water with those like plastic straws, maybe I could just like carry my own straw, right? Or maybe my own steel straw, my own bamboo straw, my own hemp straw, and go. And
Right, right.
so I feel that it essentially should start with your daily habits, because again habits are again repeatable actions. So it's very important to start there, and to deeply introspect and to see where we can make a difference, because there is no difference which is too small or big. In fact, it would all I mean every small act matters essentially, is what I'm trying to put.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And it's not only just straws that actually have plastic. There are toothbrushes, there are cutleries, even the disposable mugs that we use for having cup of tea. So if we even start with a small change by taking a small step, it can actually help make a bigger change. So
Absolutely. And
that was wonderful, Rohit.
absolutely.
The example that you quoted was really nice. Like people can actually relate their lives very easily with the way you've actually explained, after a workout having a coconut water. Instead of using that, you can use steel straws, or you can even carry your own mug wherein you can pour that water into your mug and
Right,
have a
right.
sip
and
of
and
it.
and I feel that the main change will then happen is when consumers change their perspectives, because most
Hmm.
of the large large MNCs in the world are trying to make products which are for their consumers, right? So essentially, if there is a big
Right.
paradigm shift in consumer behavior, then these big
Hmm.
businesses would also want to, I mean, become more sustainable, to cater to their new set of like consumers as well, right? So it is like a butterfly effect which starts to happen eventually.
Very right. So what do you mean by triple bottom line? I just wanted to understand the terminology from you.
Right.
What is triple
So triple
bottom line?
bottom line essentially means that I would say that any business which looks at social causes, looks at economic causes, and also looks at various environmental problems they are trying to solve, right? And these businesses
Mm-hmm.
is where I really see the future at, because essentially,
Mm-hmm.
what is like a business? A business is essentially an entity which solves a problem in the world, right? So if we are able to, I mean, cater to three problems at the same time in a very sustainable way, there is where I really see these businesses really flourishing.
Okay, so that is what you'll be calling a sustainable business, actual sustainable business.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because see, even making profits is very important as well, right? I don't want to say that, just because you are a sustainable business does not mean that you don't have to be a very profitable one. Of course, you should make
Right.
profits. You should have a great business model, but at the same time, sustainability should flow in the bloods and in the veins of your business model essentially, and that is where we can
Right.
actually actively make an impact on the world.
Right. I really agree with what you said. And I hope the coming up, the businesses, all the startups actually try to focus on the social, economic, and environmental factors from the initial days itself. Because earlier, I've seen that there is a corporate culture wherein, there is CSR activities that is mandatory, that comes under social economic, any which ways they are taking care, but environmental factors are the factors that are basically people ignore, most of them ignore. and they think that this is only the part of the businesses who are working for sustainable living, or are working for environment, are working for the environment. So only though it's the business of only them to take care of the environment. I think all the startups and all the businesses that are existing can take care of the environmental factors as well, because this is how we can actually make a change and build a better future, better environment for the future generations.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So right. And do you have any questions, Rohit, or would you like to know something, like, since we are
Right,
having a
right.
conversation, so it's not a question or an interview that is going on. So just wanted to know if there is something that you would like to know from
Right.
me.
So now when we essentially look for sustainable products, there are many terms we can see, right? Such as biodegradable, compostable, bioplastic, organic, natural, eco-friendly. So essentially, if you could just help us educate our audience on what do these terms actually mean, and what is the actual definition of these terms.
Okay. So, first, let me start with the basic terms: biodegradable and composting. So, these are the terms usually people get confused with. And biodegradable basically means if something can be disintegrated with the help of bacteria, fungi, or other biological processes. Okay. And composting, on the other hand, is we are actually trying to recycle the organic waste, which eventually can be reused. For example, whatever food waste that we have at home. Okay. So what we do is we, under certain condition, using certain what you call certain giving proper environment to it, we compost it, and that compost is as usually used as a soil for the plants, which again helps the plants to grow. Okay, so the primary difference between compostable and biodegradable is that the compostable products require a specific setting in order to break down, and whereas the biodegradable products actually break down naturally. So what happens is, you must have seen this product is biodegradable. Okay, so that means that even if you put it in the landfill, it will automatically biodegrade. It can take longer time, but if there is right conditions there, it will biodegrade. Now, the other terms that you usually get confused is organic and natural. Organic foods basically are the crops that when you produce, you do not use any pesticides or fertilizers. And in case of animals, also you say ki, the cheese is organic, the milk is organic, the meat is organic, organic honey. You must have heard of
Right.
these terms. So these terms basically mean that the product is made without, without the hormones or the antibiotics. Okay. And when you talk about the natural products, usually you must have seen natural skincare product. That means this particular, the topical cream or lotion, that particular thing is made out of nature or plant derived ingredients, like the herbs, the roots, the essential oils, the
Mhm.
flowers. These are the things, though there are some other things also added along with it, but the maximum of it is taken from the nature.
Right.
So these are the four major terms that I would like to
So
cover.
so so when we speak about natural products, do you feel, see, because
Hmm.
the main reason as to why I'm asking you this question is we have a lot of brands and a lot of companies that aren't able to, I mean, claim that it is organic, so they use the word natural, they use the word 100%, and so on, and so on and so forth. So is there any definition you could give to greenwashing, and what exactly does it mean?
Okay, I'll yes, yes, of course. So basically, what greenwashing is, you know, what I would say is, companies make false claims with to the consumers. Okay, so they want to portray, since a lot of sustainable businesses are coming in. So the existing businesses know that okay, fine, there is a lot of scope in eco-friendly products. So they try to mislead the consumers. How they can do it? They label it 100% organic, 100% natural product, or they'll say the packaging is 100% recyclable.
Mhm.
Okay, these is all, for the sake of marketing that they do. Though the product will be the same, but in order to capture the customer's attention, they'll make false claims. So that is known as greenwashing.
Right. Right. That's great actually, because what we also see is that few brands would put 1% of a plant extract in a product, and they'll say, "Hey, we have
Ha ha.
this ingredient, that ingredient," right? And it's barely half a percent to
Very
one
true.
percent of it.
True, true, true. I agree with you.
So yeah.
So, Rohit, so Diwali is coming
Hmm.
up,
Hmm.
right? So, since our topic was green living, so what is it that the message that you would like to give to our
I
audience
would
this
like,
Diwali?
okay, since this is also like the festival of lights, I would like everybody to really awaken the light within yourselves and to think and act a lot
Mm-hmm.
more very consciously, because your impact and your actions impact the entire world, not just yours, not just mine, right? So right, so
Right.
this is essentially like the idea I would want to like put forward, that please become very conscious in the actions you do, the food you eat, the the awareness you bring about, because it can actually snowball and butterfly into a lot of things, right? So yeah. Do you also
Mm-hmm.
have like a message you would want to like put forward to our audience?
I would just like to say that uh, try to, like, there are always time that, there is always a hitch to start. Get away with that hitch and just start off. Wherever you start, whenever you start, that's the best time.
Absolutely.
And best time, like, what I would say is, even if you begin with a small step, like for example, I would say if you change a toothbrush, one toothbrush will at least reduce in that ocean, in the landfill,
Right.
and that will actually help, because you will be using at least 4 to 5 toothbrushes in a year on an
Mm-hmm.
average. So you are reducing that much in an year. And if looking at you, your family members change, if it's a family of four, right? 4, 4, 16, 16 toothbrushes
Mm-hmm.
reduce just because of one family.
Absolutely.
So this way, if you do a calculation, even a small step taken by you can impact your family. That will in turn, when guests come at your place or your family members come at your place, you just brief them what you're doing. You just tell them the initiative that you're taking to, save the environment. And slowly, gradually looking at you. But I would just say, don't preach what you practice. So unless and until you're practicing something, you cannot you if you even if you'll preach, it is not going to be fruitful, because people are watching you. If you lie, you'll just preach in front of people that because I am doing this business, you should buy bamboo brushes, and you should change yourself, you'll save the environment, and I'm not implementing that in my life. It's really not going to bring a change, because somewhere or the other, my family members, my kids are watching me. Okay, the other people would some way or the other know what I am doing, and that is going to give a wrong impact. So always, first thing what I said was, try and take the first step whenever you can, because that is the right time. Second, whatever, preach what you practice.
Absolutely.
That's my message for this
That's
Diwali.
a wonderful, wonderful message. Honestly, doing an amazing job, right? And leading by
Thank
example,
you so much.
as you rightly so said, leading by example.
Thank you so much. And one last
Sure.
question, Rohit. there are many people out there, mostly the youngsters, right, who actually want to do something like you are doing. They have a lot of ideas in their mind, but taking the first step is a little difficult. At times you don't get mentors, you don't have family supporting, because when usually families are like, uh, they won't support businesses at the one go unless and until you have a great, financial background and all those things. So for people like them or individuals like them, what would you like to suggest?
Essentially, if you really, really, really believe in something, why will
Mm-hmm.
anyone else believe you if you don't believe in it in yourself, right? So the whole thing is that
Right.
if you really have an idea, and what I really, really, really believe is that that entrepreneurs are the bloodline of our economy. So by you being an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
you're actively contributing to creating jobs, adding value, generating revenue, so many other factors, right? So if you really have an idea,
Right.
believe in it, be very, very, very determined, and it will eventually align, and it will eventually go through. But the first step is that you really need to believe in yourself, and that is the most important thing. What what many young people go through, because I've seen so many young entrepreneurs. They're fueled with passion, they're fueled with emotions, they're fueled with ideas, and they're brimming up with so many different things, right? But then they just
Right.
hear one negative feedback and they feel sad about it, right? So I mean, again, being an entrepreneur is such that you wake up every single morning, you get up, you get punched in the face, you fall down, but then you have to stand up once again.
Right.
You have to stand up, right? And that is the very, very, very important message, that essentially failure is very important. It is very, very important, and as equally important to success, definitely.
So, Rohit, it was really a great pleasure having an insightful discussion with
I
you.
loved it.
And I hope our listeners must have actually heard whatever you said. And, the most important thing was to believe in yourself and to get up if you fall,
Absolutely.
right? And I hope this session of green living can actually impact the future of many individuals and many startup businesses. And once again, thank you, Rohit, for accepting our invitation and being here.
Thank
Thank
you
you very
means a lot.
much.
I really had a great time here, and you guys are doing an amazing job.